Hey everybody, it's Michael Bourada, aka Michael the Magician. I was sent a video link of someone who does reaction videos, and he did a reaction video of me on the show Penn and Teller Fool Us. I think he does it for a lot of magicians, so I haven't watched it yet. I thought I would react to him, and I heard of a few other magicians who've done this, and I thought it'd be fun to do as well. So pay close attention because it's Jason Parker, a magician, reacting to Michael Bourada, a magician, me, on Penn and Teller Fool Us. So this is my reaction to him. So this is how it would be. It would be Michael Bourada reacting to Jason Parker, reacting to Michael Bourada on Fool Us. I'm going to give some insight into the routine that I did, some thoughts, and some like kind of behind the scenes stories, and react to some of the questions that I'm assuming he must have. So be sure to hit the subscribe button for any future videos. Check out Jason's channel as well, and watch and let me know what you think. Enjoy. Slick.
Hello everyone, my name is Jason Parker and welcome back to this channel about magic. Sorry for the strange intro, I'm experimenting. Speaking of experimentations, this brings us back to episode 2 of Random Questions for You and Me. And today's question, would you rather look like a potato or feel like a potato? Comment below. Heading quickly into the purpose of this video, this is a reaction to season 7 of Fool Us. In this episode, we're going to look at Michael Bourada. He is a magician from Canada.
So stop right there. First, thanks, Jason, for doing this. This was cool to see that someone did something like this. Looking at that picture, though, it looks like it was my mugshot from like an arrest or something. But needless to say, thanks so much for doing this. Let's carry on.
I'm not familiar with him, and let's just go ahead and jump into the reaction.
My name is Michael Bourada. I'm from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I'm a magician on and off the ice. Yes, a Canadian that plays hockey. I know, it's very typical. Anxiety runs in my family. It really halted my career at one point until I learned how to deal with it. You know, sometimes like a car needs a tune-up. Sometimes someone's mind needs a little bit of a tune-up. And I actually went to talk to a professional. It was probably the best decision I could have made. When I'm on stage, I feel really relaxed. It's a great...
That's interesting he talked about going to visit a shrink. I think many of us would be a little embarrassed to mention publicly that we had done that. But I'm getting the feeling that in today's age it's becoming more and more of an acceptable thing. What do you think about that? I've been outside of the US for 4 years already, and a lot of the people I've talked to over here consider it not too much of a taboo subject. Just like Michael was saying, it's like giving your brain a tune-up like a car. So leave a comment below. Have you seen a psychologist before or a psychiatrist? Is it a good idea, something that everybody should be doing, or not really necessary? Back to the magic.
So I'll give you a bit of a backstory there. I didn't really want to mention it too much. I'm comfortable talking about it, but one of the things is this started for me about 10 years ago. It runs in my family, and I started to notice different things going on in my head, it seemed, and to the point where it affected me so much that I couldn't even complete a really big tour that I booked. And not only did I lose the tour, did I lose lots of money, but I also lost the trust of some people that I've never regained it back from those people, which is really unfortunate and really sad, because they didn't understand at the time. And to be fair, I suppose there wasn't as much awareness, and I didn't even understand at the time. So flash forward 10 years later, I had some bouts in between, but about 9 months ago, so it's August 2020 right now, about October 2019, I had a really bad go of it for about 6 weeks, and that's when I said enough's enough. I really need to talk to somebody. I don't take medication or anything for it, but I was able to understand a lot more about how the mind works by talking to someone and how my mind is processing things, and was able to do some like CBT, and it kind of really, like I said, got me back on track, understanding certain things, and making me understand especially that this is not uncommon. So if you're ever in the thought that you really need to speak with someone, I highly recommend doing it. There's nothing wrong, nothing to be embarrassed about. So we'll keep going.
Way to cope with everything, and really allows me just to focus on the audience and enjoy myself. To fool Penn and Teller would be an absolute dream come true.
Please welcome Ottawa's own Michael Bourada.
Thank you. Allison, I've always dreamt of performing a big illusion on a Vegas stage. You know, like making someone appear, disappear, a levitation, cutting someone in half. But don't worry, I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Not since the incident. But the one I love, and what we're gonna attempt today, was actually made famous by Harry Houdini, the metamorphosis. And that's when two people would switch places in an instant.
Oh, so I'll pause really quickly there, and I'll mention, if you don't know what the metamorphosis is, you might have seen it in a magic show, especially if you're big into magic. Basically, there is usually a trunk or a wooden crate, and two people are involved. One person gets in the crate, one person stands on, and they switch. That's the premise of most metamorphosis tricks. Some of those boxes are now like clear, like plexiglass, so you can see into them. It's really cool. Highly recommend looking up on YouTube Metamorphosis Magic Trick, or specifically Metamorphosis Penn Dragons. They do, in my opinion, the best version of it. So really quickly, that was just a quick blurb about it, but it's a super cool illusion, and this is my scaled back, scaled down version of it. So
I came up with my own way of doing the metamorphosis. I brought 2 markers, 2 envelopes, and 2 picture frames. So we'll start with the markers first. I'll take one and you take one. And to do my version of the metamorphosis, we're gonna need to draw 2 people. And Allison, seeing we're both here, I thought that we would draw each other.
Okay.
So I'll start, which means I need you to strike a pose. I love it. I just need to focus.
takes the edge off.
Here we go.
That's awesome.
So funny thing about this moment here, when you're creating like a routine to a trick, and I've done this like thousands of times, this trick. I've had this in my show for like 15 years, believe it or not, changing the script a little bit. I changed to different markers, and the first time I did it, it started making that squeaking sound. I was like, oh my God, why is it doing this? But people were laughing at it. I'm like, oh, this was great, you know, because then it's clicked to me. I'm like, you know what? Of course people are going to laugh at it. You make a funny sound, people laugh. And from then on, I did this. And the producers were so keen on getting that sound really like magnified into the performance. And they really did a good job in capturing just that sound. And it was fairly loud, but I think they really were able to key in on that exact squeaking sound, because like I said, funny sounds equals laughs. Anyway, that's a little side note on that.
Okay, so far so good. Already looks just like her.
True story.
Hey, that reminds me of my question at the beginning of the video. Do you want to feel like a potato, or in this case, look like a potato? And by the way, I gotta say that I'm loving his comedy so far. This is right up my alley.
Oh, thanks.
We'll draw some lovely hair, yes. She's got sparkling eyes, pert nose, and a glowing smile. And we'll finish it off. And just so you know, this is actually my daughter's favorite trick. Her name's Alexis. I named her that because that's the type of car I could drive if I didn't have kids. But it's done. It looks so much like you. Oh. She's speechless.
Her spitting image.
Exactly.
I'll flip it over and I'll sign my work. Now it's your turn. You get to draw me. Okay, I'll hold these here for you.
So at this moment, my thinking is, watching this over, I think Penn and Teller have an idea of what's about to happen. I think that they think that in a lot of tricks. Now they're watching to see, is he going to pull the wool over our eyes? Is there going to be some kind of twist here or not? Because that's oftentimes what happens with some tricks, is they think they have it, and then they miss it just for a few seconds, and then before they know it, they've been fooled, right? So you can see, like, I think they're genuinely Teller's, I don't know about Teller, but I think Penn's really paying close attention here. So keep going.
And you could just draw a wig.
Okay.
Okay, a nice egg-shaped head. Thanks. That's nice of you. How about a little bit of hair? That would be nice. Just a little peach fuzz.
Another part too. like, being bald or whatever, it is what it is. But it's hilarious that I make a hair joke, a bald joke, and they cut to like the token guy in the crowd that's got no hair. I when I saw it played back, this was the first time I saw it played back, was when you guys watched it on TV. I laughed out loud just because I think it was just a little fun bit that the editors must have put in, thinking it was pretty funny. So anyway, either that or it's a huge coincidence, which I don't think it was. But anyway,
It's good, okay?
You're gonna have ears.
Yeah, very nice ears. Excellent. Awkward looking smile. Go ahead. Yeah. For the body, too, probably quite muscular.
Right.
Very scrawny. Okay. Wow, you really captured my essence.
like a mirror.
You wanted hair.
I'll tell you what, like any great artist, we'll get you to sign your work. Go. Yes. Awesome.
I don't know what that was.
Now, we've done a lot over the last few minutes, so at this point, I think it's really important that we recap.
Okay, I'm loving his performance so far. And as far as the magic, this kind of reminds me of, with this type of seance magic, they'll have like two chalkboards and they'll put like a piece of chalk between and shake it, and it's like the ghost makes a drawing. Anyways, I see something a little similar here, and maybe that might be related to the method. That's all I will say. Let's keep going.
Lastly, we have these envelopes. Both are empty, but can you double check? Reach inside the first envelope, Allison. Empty?
Yes.
It is. And the second envelope, it should also be empty. Double check, reach inside.
Yeah.
It is. We'll start by taking your amazing drawing that you drew of me, and it goes inside the first envelope like so. You're gonna hold it one arm on each side, right in front of you. Excellent. Then we'll take my incredible drawing that I did of you, and it goes inside the second envelope. And here's where the metamorphosis begins, because we want my picture to incredibly switch places with your picture. So to do that, you're gonna keep holding with your left hand. And with your right hand, you're gonna put it up in the air like this. You're gonna turn your palm toward me. And you're gonna stick out your favorite finger.
Oh, do thumbs count as fingers?
That works. Hold it there. I find this part of the trick quite touching.
One of his jokes.
It's done. I felt it. Lower it down. Reach inside, Allison. Pull the picture out, because the metamorphosis is complete. I have yours, you have mine. Give Allison a big round of applause as well.
Michael Bourada! Wow.
Those three people that you hear wooing, like the clapping and the applause is real, but there's like three people that you hear wooing. That's just like my little fan club that came down with me to watch the performance. So that's real too, those people wooing. It's probably a lot louder than what you hear. I don't know why I told you that, but they're there.
We were so good.
Oh, thank you very much.
Don't you think?
I try.
So,
In this part, I was so embarrassed after. I didn't even realize it till I watched it recorded back. I thought at the time, Allison, I'm sorry, Allison, I thought you said you were so good. And then, of course, I'm like, oh, I try taking all the credit when she said we were so good. So, like, such a jerk taking all the credit. She was excellent. We were an amazing duo, Allison, if you're watching. But yeah, that was just, I didn't hear quite well. I think I kind of like blacked out there for a second.
do you prefer a helper that can draw or not?
I like someone who's just gonna have fun up here, such as you. It doesn't have to be like a Picasso or anything of that nature.
What went through your mind when you got the call to be on the show?
I was so excited. It was just my whole like career flashed almost before my eyes, and here I am performing in front of two of the greats.
Have you performed in Vegas before?
Never. This is a first.
How does that feel? This is
So
your first, and
cool.
this is your first Vegas performance.
Yeah, so cool, so cool.
You did.
So I perform like 200, 250 shows a year, really busy, travel all over, never done Vegas before. There's some people that have performed in Vegas, maybe doing like a corporate function or convention or whatever, but to get a chance to play Vegas and do it on one of the biggest magic stages in Vegas was certainly like when I said it was so cool, that's like an understatement. It's like such an honor to do it, and something that I'll never forget. Whether I go back to Vegas or not to do anything else after this, who knows? But either which way, like I say, this was a bucket list thing for me for sure.
It was just something that's been on my checklist forever, and now I get to check it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to see if Penn and Teller know how you did your trick.
Right on.
All right, let me go ahead and give you my thoughts before we hear from Penn and Teller. First thing I want to comment on, I noticed at the very end they show the drawings, but they don't reverse to show the signatures on the back. And I'm wondering, could they have? I mean, was that part of the effect and they just kind of forgot to show it? Or if we looked at the back, would we see the wrong signatures? Inquiring minds want to know.
So I'll answer that as best I can. The signatures on the back aren't as important as what the effect really is, and that is the pictures are switching places, right? So I saw a lot of people comment that, like, did the signatures switch too? There was no forgetting that. It was more just like, it doesn't matter if the signatures switch or don't switch, or if they disappear completely, or they're completely like two different names. The real magic is the pictures switching places. And I mean, that's obviously very clear, but I think some people lose sight of what that is. And I understand as especially like a lay person watching this, which is just a regular person who isn't a magician, they have these questions, but like I said, in the grand scheme of things, the magic is picture A switching with picture B, a metamorphosis, like two people switching places. So anyway, I just saw a few people comment in about that, asking, I wonder if he could switch it around, etc. So that's kind of my long-winded answer of it. So,
Secondly, as I mentioned, I really enjoyed the jokes he was sprinkling throughout the act. It just makes it fun. And I really liked when he had her drawing him and he was like, and draw the body too. And he was hoping it would be muscular, but then he's just like a stick body. Because, the average person can't draw. And if they're going to draw you and they have this little tiny space for your body at the bottom, they're going to make a stick figure. So it's pretty much guaranteed he can always make that joke. Thirdly,
yeah, so you're right. The average person can't draw. And like I said, in doing this so many times, I've seen so many weird, bizarre drawings. Allison did amazing. She wasn't instructed. She didn't know what was going to happen. She wasn't in on anything. I think she's smart enough to realize this is for TV. It's got to be big, thankfully, because sometimes you do this on stage for just random audiences and they do this minuscule little drawing and it just doesn't play as well as like a big head. And if someone draws the stick figure, that's the hope. You get the joke. If they do the muscles, I have other jokes. Like a lot of good magic routines, you just kind of learn the ins and outs and what works and what doesn't, especially with scripting. So all that said, that is a very funny moment of the trick for sure.
and perhaps least importantly of all, when he asked her to give him some hair, I don't know why she chose to give him a mohawk. Interesting choice. For the magic, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. I think it's similar to these chalkboards used for seance magic. I'm sure it's not exactly the same. There must be some improvements here for the handling to be more convincing. I did notice there was a moment where he took a board and he put it into the envelope and then he pulled it out again to show, like, that's what you expect. And when I see something like that, although it seems very innocent, I'm sure it was some part of the magic, you know? Perhaps like a convincer or something like that. Anyways, let's go ahead and hear what Penn and Teller have got to say.
Boys?
Michael, great trick, really funny, got good laughs in a room that's hard to get laughs in. And did a good job and a very nice drawing. You know, behind you.
I like when Penn said, in a room that's hard to get laughs in. He's like dead serious and the audience is like, ha 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 ha.
So what he's saying there too is totally true. I was first up out of a group of performers, and you're going into a room where people are very unsure of what they're allowed to do. You know, you're in a studio audience. You can be a real audience. But what Penn is saying is there's a huge gap between where the performer stands and where the first row of the audience is. And any stage performer or performer in general, whether you're a magician, doesn't matter, will tell you that they want like a feeling of intimacy where someone is closer to you and you can make a better connection with them. So what he's saying is the room is hard to get laughs in because it's just so spread out. And I'm sure for their live show that happens nightly in Vegas, it's probably set up a little bit different, a little bit more beneficial for them. But for someone to go out and do laughs and magic, I appreciated what Penn was saying, because I've worked rooms where they're not set up properly and it's not as It's not as impactful, the magic and the comedy, when you have this huge gap in between you. So it could be a lot harder. So the laughs that you heard were not dubbed in laughs. Those were real laughs. There was anything that was applause is genuinely pretty real, I'd say, in probably everyone's routines, not just my own. At least that's what I believe, but I can tell you for mine, that was real, and that was a very nice thing that Penn said. So we'll keep going.
Nervous laughter. Okay.
When we're doing bits, I often don't look behind us at all at what's up there.
Yeah.
And but there behind you, there was Monk the Scream, and there was Monet. But you weren't inspired by any of them. You were inspired by a slightly lesser known artist named Gene Anderson, I think, for some of this. Your style of drawing, your style of working, very, very inspired by him.
Oh, yeah.
And love the trick. And I don't know why I feel like saying this, but I just do. You know, I like birds. There's something about birds that bothers me, and it bothers me so much, and that is that birds don't have arms. And that makes me creeped out by them walking around with no arms. Oh, they got those wings.
So this look right here, like, I caught it perfectly. This look is me saying, Penn, I have no idea what you're saying at that given moment. Like, there was so much going on. It's very overwhelming. You just nailed your routine. You nailed the script. You felt good. The audience was great. And then I knew I was had when he said something a little earlier. But then he goes into the bit about birds. And I genuinely, until I was walking off the stage, like, I didn't know what he was talking about. And then as I'm walking off, I'm like, oh, it clicked. But that's how deep the code was here, because if you know the show, you know he deciphers things based on code, not to give it away to the average person watching at home. And that's how deep the code was. And I've seen a lot of people in the comments on like various sites like YouTube, Reddit, etc., who are like, what did he mean by that? I don't get it. It was very deep. Like, you know, sometimes he'll use keywords that I think some people can really pick up on, and this one seemed to fool a lot of people. It fooled me even just for a few seconds. So anyway, that's the look of me saying, what is he saying right now? Because I was just kind of a total blur at that moment. But anyway.
And those wings will flap, but they don't have arms, and that bugs me. I don't know why I said that, but I don't think you fooled us.
I don't think I fooled you either. But this was so much fun.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Two of the greats. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Michael Bourada!
All right, let me go ahead and give you my concluding thoughts. Very cool performance, very fun. I enjoyed watching it. As far as Penn's code speak, I guess the flapping the wings is something relating to the magic, and that kind of coincides with how I imagine it being done too. That's kind of funny how Penn chose to fixate it on how it's weird birds don't have arms. I mean, they do have arms. Their arms are their wings. But hey, to each their own. Yeah. He doesn't like birds. Okay. Anyways, I thought Michael Bourada's performance and his presentation on stage was very entertaining. He's like very comfortable in his own skin, or at least it looks like that way to us. He talked in his intro about having anxiety, but seeing him up there, he just seemed relaxed and at ease. So I commend him for giving a presentation like that when apparently he's suffered from anxiety before. And as far as
Yeah, so one thing I say in the intro at the beginning too is when I'm on stage, I actually feel great. When I'm off stage, I'm actually typically a little bit of a quieter, shy person, but when you go on stage, it's like a release. And so I've never been affected with my on stage performance from anxiety. Everything's just been more of like just mental blocks that happen in just my personal life or whatever. But you know, on stage, I felt great. It's like I was nervous like anyone. I don't think I've ever been as nervous as that. I typically don't get very nervous when I perform, but you know, when you're walking out on that stage, on that platform, yeah, there was some butterflies. But once I was out there and they get you in position, it hits you. You're like, it's go time. It's real. This is happening, and it's now or never, and it's do or die. And it's like a sporting event where it's like you got to deliver here. And I just felt great on stage, and I hope that reflected through to the performance. I was very relaxed. Once I really got the first sentence out, I was able to kind of settle in and bring the energy, as the producers say. So thank you for those nice words. Thank you.
magic. I have no doubt that would be very fooling for the average layperson who hasn't seen the kind of magic trick I was describing before. It's very well constructed. It seems very fair. They're both standing apart holding the envelopes, and suddenly they open them up and they're completely switched. It's a really cool effect, and I like the idea that he gets the spectator involved and they're both making funny drawings. You know, it just makes it fun. Anyways, Michael Bourada.
And that's the cool thing too, I'll really mention, is this trick is meant for everyone. And I think that's one of the things that the show liked. That's great for adults for sure, because the magic is definitely very convincing, but kids like it too because, you know, you have funny pictures, and, you know, obviously the jokes play well with the adults. So I love this routine, and it was such an honor to do it on this stage.
Great performance. Congratulations for getting on the show. And what about you watching at home? What did you think? Leave a comment below. And now it's the...
Well, thank you very much, Jason. I understand from watching a few of your videos that you are exploring the idea of going on the show. If I could be in any of assistance to help you, if you have any questions, I'm sure there's lots of magicians willing to help. Count me in that group as well. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate those nice words. And keep it up. I love watching the reactions. Super fun, super cool. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thanks so much.